Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Wild Earth. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Yay. So, yes, a very happy birthday to Wild Earth. And we've got a special this evening, which I'm looking forward to. Not sure if we're allowed to give away too much just yet. So, but those of you who are joining us, my name is Byron, and Dave is on camera with me this morning. We've been looking for lions and leopards, and we've had no luck, unfortunately. But it is still early, it is still cool, so I'm hoping that we start getting some activity from these predators fairly soon. We'll see what we can find. But it has been a bit quiet this morning for us so far. But we've seen tracks and we've heard lions this morning. We heard them calling. We saw tracks of leopards earlier. We just can't seem to find these animals. Not sure where they've all disappeared to. But as you all know, that's how it goes sometimes. You can hear them, you can see the signs that they've been around. But to actually find them, especially when the bush is so thick, is very, very difficult. Thought I heard a woodpecker, perhaps. See anything jumping around there, Dave? No. No. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun this evening on our sunset safari for the birthday. I believe we might be going through a few old clips. So it should be, I think it's going to be very funny. I think it's going to be very funny. Yep, sure. You asked, does the vehicle have air conditioning? Well, it's natural air conditioning. I mean, you don't. But if you mean in terms of a heater or anything like that, no, absolutely not. Not on these vehicles. The newer Land Rovers, and we were discussing it this morning. Actually, Taylor used to do this. So the new vehicles, that most of the lodges use, they have got the air conditioning, not quite the air conditioning, but heaters that you can turn on. So for winter, some of the guides would sit and they'd drive, but they put the heater on, and the heater only blows to the front where the guide is sitting, so the guests at the back don't get it, obviously, but the guests do get blankets and hot water bottles, and that often, for most of the lodges, that's what they do in winter. So the guide would sit and blow the heater, and they would be quite comfortable in the front. I never did it because I just don't like heaters. I really, really do not like heaters. But Taylor admitted this morning. She said she used to sit often with the heater blowing this hot air on her while she was driving around, while the guests are shivering at the back. No, but like I say, with those blankets and hot water bottles, the guests stay very, very warm. There's some hornbills on the ground here. Let's see. Sit down for us again. Hang on. They're in the tree, and there's some beautiful light on them. We might get a nice view. Hopefully they stay there. Will they? Just on that branch, Dave. Can you see them here? There we go. Red-billed hornbills. Oh, and off they go. Quite a few of them. There's about at least 4 or 5 that just flew off through to the back there. Oh, we had such a lovely sighting. Just speaking about birds, and it made me think of birds of prey. We had such a lovely sighting of that one yesterday. We had the juvenile African harrier hawk. Now I know there may have been a bit of confusion yesterday with the name, and I just want to clarify it. I just sometimes go through the tweets after the show and just see if there was anything people were a bit unclear about. So the African harrier hawk used to be known as the Djuma. So let me just find my book here quickly. I should get it. I think, yes, there it is. So so I'll find it quickly. But the African harrier hawk is the Djuma. So let me show you there. Is that right, Dave? That's the new name, the African harrier hawk. Well, I say new name, it's been called the African harrier hawk for quite some time now. But the old name a lot of people are familiar with was Djuma. And that was it. So it was a juvenile Djuma or juvenile African harrier hawk that we saw yesterday. I think some people were getting confused with the African hawk eagle. So, and because of African harrier hawk, African hawk eagle, they sound similar. African hawk eagle looks completely different. Let's see if I can actually find it here quickly for you, just to show you. Here we go. That's the African hawk eagle, which is different, and they are usually in pairs, but they've got those beautiful black and white markings and black streaking down the chest. Completely different to the African harrier hawk. So I hope that's clarified it a little bit for you, but it is confusing. A lot of these bird names are confusing. I've had a number of guests often just look at me as if I'm speaking a different language because with some of these bird names. Oh, there is a woodpecker knocking. Sounds like a bearded woodpecker. Let's see if we can find... There it is. Sal, you say every time I say harrier hawk, all you think of is military aircraft. What was that? What was that very famous show back in the... Was it in the 80s, 70s or 80s? Airwolf. That's that helicopter, Airwolf. Oh no, I think the light is not going to be in our favor here. Oh no, it's directly behind the sun, in front of the sun. Oh, there it goes. It was a bearded woodpecker busy knocking away there. Lou, you thought I was going to mention Jag as a military show. Well, Jag is definitely not from the 80s, I don't believe. I think Jag was 90s or late 2000s even. Yeah. And it's apparently Eggsy's favorite show, Zonda. He loves Jag. Okay. Quite a good show, actually. Apparently, all the actors and actresses from Jag and Airwolf are all big Safari Live fans. They watch myself and James and Taylor and Jamie daily. They're huge fans. It's quite embarrassing, actually, the amount of fan mail we get from them. So, I mean, we live in hope, I suppose. I know James is still hoping to take Scarlett Johansson out on a safari. Still no luck, hey James. And I'm still waiting for Emma Stone to email me, but nothing yet. They obviously just don't have the right email address. It must be that reason. Mario, you asked, is it easier to find birds of prey at churches? Well, Mario, good one. No, not necessarily. There no churches built out here in the bush, so no. Dave, we can't even find these elephants. We've seen so many. We found so many tracks of the elephants, but no sign of them. Anyway, we're not going to give up just yet. Let's head to Jamie, who's found a new mother apparently.
I can tell Byron where to look for elephants, but I'll tell him in a bit. Look at this. Judy H., the Latrodectus Geometricus, did I get that right? Yes, I did. Judy H., you asked about our friendly brown widow spider and where she was and if her egg sacs were still alive and well. Well, would you look at that? That is not a spider that you want to get bitten by. Fortunately for us, we appear to have a thriving population that lives in the tent. And well spotted by Sensor, he found it. It's up in the corner of our lovely tent setup. Now that is not a spider that you want to get bitten by. Very highly neurotoxic venom. If you're a full adult? Yes, if you're a full adult, I'm not entirely sure I qualify yet. But if you are a fully grown healthy adult, you should be okay. But I do know people who've had severe bad reactions to that venom, and it has made them very, very ill indeed. And for kids and for the elderly, a trip into hospital may be necessary. Get that feeling of anxiety, heart pounding, the typical effects of neurotoxic venom. I've never been bitten by one, for which I'm very thankful. They're actually very non-aggressive spiders. They don't go out of their way to go and nibble on your skin. But it does happen. People getting wood. They love places like this, corners like this part of the tent, little hidden places where they can make themselves a nice, safe and secure spot. And Lou and I both agree on one thing, is that their egg sacs, that's what those spiky balls were. You saw the spider in there? Those spiky egg sacs always make me think of a graphic representation of some kind of virus or bacteria or something floating around in somebody's bloodstream, like something out of the Magic School Bus, just a bit darker and a bit scarier. There you go. Judy H., she's alive and well, if it is in fact the same she, or if perhaps it's one of her offspring that has got to the point now where she's ready to reproduce. Within this spider web is a very, very brave little spider, and it's going to be almost impossible for Sensor to get on camera. But what I can see as I look up at it in this morning sunlight is this tiny drop of silver, which is a dewdrop spider, and it is a kleptoparasite. I always admire their tenacity and courage in living in spider webs of spiders much larger than themselves and running the daily risk of being caught thieving and having to try and dash away from a spider that will definitely eat them if they get caught. And there we go. Our brown widow, alive, well. I'm actually okay. I'm okay with her being there. It was when they were living in the chair, actually, I didn't even think to check the chair. Probably there's another one still in there from when I was last in the tent in the morning. Speaking of being in the tent in the morning, I found evidence of my spectacular deep fryer fail. For those of you who remember that particular morning, running off exhaustion, I found evidence of it. I'm going to burn it. It's going to disappear and it'll be like it never ever happened. But I'm busy working on something, but you can't see it now because I'm still busy. I haven't finished off my map that I'm drawing. I'm going to give you a little bit of an orientation into Kenya and where we're going to be, where Scott and Nikki are, but I haven't finished that yet. It's not ready. We got distracted by a spider. Oh, no, don't show them the map. Don't show them the map. Plus it all went wrong, and now there's a little piece of Kenya. Perhaps this is how wars are started. There's a little border of Kenya that definitely doesn't belong. Right, speaking of Kenya, we had a question about whether or not we are going to see ostriches. I have to double check who that's from, I'm sorry. Give me a sec. Oh, another one from Lauren. Lauren, you want to know if there's going to be any ostriches in the Mara. There will indeed. That was in my shoe. There will indeed be ostriches in the Mara. Again, something to look forward to seeing. We don't see them all that frequently, and it's been a long time since we've seen any ostriches on Cheetah Plains. So there you go. We will be seeing ostriches. We'll be seeing all sorts of exciting things. I am thrilled. And it's very fitting that on our 10th birthday, we are talking about this journey, this exciting expansion that is occurring. Because, of course, it is just an expansion. Everything will stay the same here. The tent will still be here. James will have to accept and abandon it. I wonder which spider's living in that corner now. Now I've got the heebies. While I double check and make sure that it's not something that's going to bite me or Senzo, let's head across to Taylor and see if she's got your spotted surprise.
Jamie, I hope it's not a spider that's going to bite you and inject its venom and then wrap you up in its silken web and eat you. I will not be very happy if that happens. But yes, we're on Cheetah Plains now. Unfortunately, we didn't have any luck with anything else on Chitwa, but we are making our way towards what sounds like, I think it is Vutomi, that we're going to go and visit in a moment. We're not too far away. We're just on the most eastern boundary now, sort of heading fairly quickly. He was left lying up at Cheetah Plains Pan. So I'm very excited because I've never seen this leopard before. It's only taken me a very long time. I still haven't even seen Tundi and her cub and Tumba just yet. So I'm slowly but surely starting to cross the various leopards off of my list that are missing. And of course that will be... Oh yes, thank you Louise. Louise has had to remind me to reintroduce myself, just in case you've forgotten who I am, or in case there's some new people who are watching, and if that's the case, welcome to all of you. My name is Taylor, and on camera with me today is Sebastian, and of course it is a very big happy birthday to Wild Earth. Happy 10 years, that's pretty amazing. Good going, I reckon. So yes, congratulations to Graham and Emily. I think that's definitely in order, so round of applause, but I can't do a round of applause for too long because then we veer off the side of the road, and well, we don't want to be doing that because I want to show you a leopard, which is actually not too far away. We're almost there, literally 2 or 3 minutes away, I think. Yes. This is exciting. So we're going to take this road on the right, and then about 300 meters that way we're going to find a leopard. Well, this is what everybody has said we're going to find. Let's take them up on it. I just want to race there, but I know I can't go too fast. I'm just so excited to finally see this lovely young man, and I'm quite interested to see, because I've obviously seen lots of pictures of him, but how much smaller he is compared to Hosanna, which will be quite interesting. But we won't make any speculations just yet until we get there. And I'm starting to see the high rise, the open area just starting to open up again just in front of us. We better keep our eyes open here though, because he could have moved. You know what the leopards are like? As soon as all the cars leave them, and he has been left unattended, he could have just got up and gone somewhere else, and then we'll have to find him again. Hide and seek, that's what the animals love to play. Almost there, through this little drainage line. Please still be there, please still be there. I just passed Jamie as well, not Jamie in the tent, of course she can't morph herself unfortunately, but another Jamie, and he'd said that he was just there. We just popped past him a moment ago, so that sort of makes me feel a little bit better. Come on, come on, come on, where are you? I'm trying to scan and spot him before all of you spot him. Is that him? Yes, I can see him, yay! There he is down over there. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm just going to go off-road right here. Better go into low range though. Oh, this is wonderful. Remember that beautiful sighting that James had with the cheetah at Cheetah Plains Pan and the rainbow? We don't have a rainbow, but we've got a similar setup, a spotted cat next to the pan. Not two of them, just one of them. But I'm so happy because we've had a quiet few drives. The leopards have been avoiding us. Oh my goodness, and straight away he's so dark in color. He's just over here. Hello boy. His like sort of rosettes are quite densely packed together. Hello boy. Now I'm going to keep my distance just because I don't know him very well. I don't know him at all. So I need to learn about him, of course, and for me to learn about him means that I need to take everything slowly, keep my distance, and just see what he does next. And he hasn't done anything. He gave us an evil glare a moment ago. And I don't know why, because I couldn't imagine a happier spot next to a pan like this in the lovely morning sun. It is really delightful. And very toasty. I know Sebastian and I are appreciating the sun too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Megan, you said what a nice birthday treat. I have to agree with you. It would have been a bit sort of quite sad, I think, if we hadn't have had a cat for Wild Earth's birthday. So at least we've managed to pull through over here. But what a beautiful looking cat. He, like I said, straight away as I was coming in, whether it's because he hasn't groomed himself, I'm not certain, but his rosettes look very close together, which creates quite a dark sort of pattern on him, which is lovely. But he doesn't have big ears. He doesn't have too many dark markings around his face. So I'm trying to work out how I'm going to start to identify him first go. Now, of course, it's easy to tell with their spot patterns when you can see their faces, but normally that's not the case. When you see a leopard moving, the first thing you aren't able to do is to zoom up close onto their face. Normally they've got their bottoms towards you, or they're slinking through the long grass. So I always look for signs other than just the spot pattern. And like I said, to me, he's relatively small. He's not particularly large, and he's just very dark in color. But he actually looks a bit untidy. I don't know if you all agree with me, but even just looking down to his paws, it doesn't look like he's done a bit of grooming for quite some time. Young man, you are looking very untidy. Louise is directing today, of course. Louise says that it's just because he's got fluffy fur. That is not an excuse. Even if you've got your winter woolies on, you've got to keep that coat looking slick and clean all the time. Grooming is very, very important for cats, for dogs. Dogs don't seem to do it as much, though. The wild dogs don't seem to groom themselves meticulously, just like the lions and leopards do. But you've got to make sure that you keep all the parasites at bay. Otherwise, you'll find yourself with a bit of an infestation. And remember, he's on his own now. He's not really being seen with Nkanyeni anymore. She's moved off now. She's left him on his own, which is about right. He's about 17 months old or so, 16, 17 months. That's a normal age from the other leopards that I've seen in the various areas. I know that Karula used to hold on to her male cubs a bit longer, but that's not always the case. And most of the time, it's not the case at all. I've always see the leopards go relatively young. Lions tend to stay at home for a bit longer. They tolerate it a bit more. Now I'm just pulling my scarf out of my jacket in case you hear some strange things. Yes, it's getting a bit toasty now in this lovely, lovely sun. Isn't he cute? Good morning, Paul. As we sit here and we watch this leopard enjoy his slumber. You have asked this morning, what is a leopard's diet? Well, Paul, it's actually an interesting question, seeing as though we're looking at a young male leopard. And the reason why I say that is because his diet is slightly different from that of an adult leopard. At the moment, he is still going after things like terrapins. He'll be catching monitor lizards, trying to catch birds. And if he's able to, of course, he won't say no to a steenbok or a duiker or even an impala. However, at this very young age, and we've got three leopards that are quite young, not extremely young, Khosan and Shongile as well, who have just started taking down bigger prey for themselves. However, in between they fill their diets with these smaller animals. They're not necessarily the most tasty and the most nutritious, but any bit of food, any bit of energy that can be absorbed, well, is needed, even if it is in the form of a stinky terrapin. I'd love to see the dung, and I think Jamie was actually looking at leopard dung that had, I think it might have been Shongiles, that was just sort of filled with terrapin scales and all sorts of things, which is really funny. Now, I've seen much footage of Vutomi as he goes and catches his terrapins. I think he's the original terrapin hunter since I've been here. And I know Jamie the other afternoon, we were quite lucky, we had sort of a leopard heaven where she was sitting with this young man and he was diving into the dams, catching terrapins, and then we'd found Tingana, which was quite nice to, of course, see. But look, you see what I mean when I say he looks very untidy? You can see it clearly there. His coat just doesn't look as slick and smooth. Now, it may be the fact that he is getting a slightly thicker coat coming into winter. The temperature in the last week has dropped significantly. We're definitely going to see more fluffy animals. But it doesn't get super cold to the point where your coat should look untidy like that. Vutomi, I think you're being a little bit on the lazy side, and I think you need to pay attention to your looks just a little bit more. But he's not too bothered, and the birds around here don't seem to be too bothered with him either. Now, there's obviously sitting right near a pan of water. There's lots of bird life. It's a good spot to wait for something to pop up. Now, Christina, you've actually asked Willie get inside of this water to clean himself. No, he won't. What he'll do is he'll groom himself with his tongue, which is quite rough, and will help smooth the coat out. Also pick up any little parasites like ticks that he'll then pull off of his coat, and then he'll probably spit them out. So I'm sure they swallow a few ticks every now and then. And then the other thing is to reach places like his face, is that he'll lick his paws and wet his paws, and then he'll use his paws and wipe them across his face. We see the lions and leopards doing it often. Now, the one thing though is I want to know, how does a leopard clean itself when it has dived into the mud? I saw a picture, I don't know where it was from, of a leopard carrying a catfish. And literally the only way that you could tell that it was a leopard was because its tail didn't have any mud on. Other than that, it looked like a very emaciated lion. Because obviously the leopards are much smaller than lions. But it was just amazing. And I thought to myself, how is that leopard going to take all of that mud off of its body? It was caked in it. Because just thinking about it logically, I wouldn't want to get a mouthful of mud. So if I were a leopard, they probably don't do this, I would probably go and dive down into a clean bit of water and get most of it off, then wait for the sun to dry me out. But of course I'm not a leopard, and I don't think that they'd do that. I don't think it would have been a very pleasant experience for that leopard to groom itself after being covered in so much mud. But luckily, young man, you don't have to worry about that. You just need to get your hair a bit flattened. It's really funny to actually see, because every time we've ever come across the leopards, they are always just so beautiful, smooth coats. Always lovely. But he's beautiful though. He's a lovely boy, don't get me wrong. I'm just nitpicking on the fact that looks like he hasn't groomed himself in a while. It actually looks like he's been electrocuted, the way that his hair is standing up like that. Perhaps he popped his tail into a socket against the wall, because you know he likes to hang around in Coral Lodge, this leopard. So possibly that's what he's done. No, he hasn't done that. I'm talking on complete nonsense now. But isn't this cool? There's not another animal in sight other than a couple of crowned lapwings and a few little birds. Now, Rebecca, you've noticed that of course he is indeed fast asleep, but what you have noticed is how comfortable he is, and you're wondering if he does feel comfortable sleeping out here around this dam. Most certainly. Because he's young though, if he does hear an unfamiliar noise or even a louder noise, he may pop his head up and look around. Leopards, of course, are not the top dogs out here, so they still have to look over their shoulders. But yes, the fact that he's got his eyes closed and completely ignoring us as well means that he to some point he is fairly relaxed. And what I'm impressed about though is the fact that the birds are so relaxed around him, because a leopard of this age, because he is so young, he would have tendencies to try and find eggs and things too. Leopards will literally eat anything that they can get their paws on, so some eggs would be very, very tasty. And the crowned lapwings, I think there's a pipit of some sort, maybe a buffy, maybe an African, a few doves, and nobody is alarming at him. Maybe because they know that he's here now. He's probably been here for most of the morning, is the reason why they've got sick of shouting about and wasting their voices, because he's expressed that he's not going anywhere. And he's come around here either to have a drink or look for terrapins again. He doesn't look particularly fat, So it's a good spot, seeing as though he is a terrapin specialist. This would be the perfect spot to find some terrapins, and hopefully, as the day goes about, the terrapins will forget that he is there and come out and sun themselves on the edge of the bank, which would provide an easier opportunity for this young male to sort of stalk up behind them using the rise of the bank, the dam wall, and then pounce on them and eat them. Yum, yum, yum. I don't know. I don't think I would be eating terrapins. Sebastian, would you eat terrapins?
No way.
No way. They're so stinky. I learnt my lesson the hard way once, where I tried to move one out of the road many, many years ago, thinking that I'm being, so kind and I'm helping animals, and I moved it obviously too quickly, and it just expelled that foul-smelling liquid all over me, and it was fantastic, and I had to continue doing a game drive like that. It was not pleasant. I was retching off the side of the car for most of the morning. It was really terrible. Louise, please may I have that question again? I didn't quite think. I just heard Jamie talking. And thought that's not Tammy from Ohio. Now, Tammy from Ohio, who had the voice of Jamie for a moment, you're wondering if I thought that he looked thin. I don't think he looks thin to the point where we need to start worrying. At this age, it's awkward. He's a growing young man, so he is going to look a bit gangly at times. Look at Hosanna, for example. Just the last time that I'd seen him before I went on holiday, he was quite short, but very, very stocky. And now since I've seen him, he's sort of grown a bit taller. He doesn't look so stocky anymore. He's sort of filled out, not filled out, but his legs have grown, which is quite nice. And that's what's going to happen. The same thing will happen with Vutomi as he gets older. And even though he is older than Hosanna, he may have not had a growth spurt just yet. We all think that Hosanna is going to be a very big leopard, which I'm hoping is going to be the case. I hope he's going to be another contender eventually to be against Anderson, and of course Tingana is a big male too. However, he could just be having an early growth spurt. That's another case. Remember, Mom was also feeding him an Impala every single day, so he put on a lot of weight like that. We might see that growth rate change slightly, because he's not eating as regularly as he was when Mom was providing the food for him all the time. But we're not going to go anywhere. We're going to stay with this chap and see if he gets up and perhaps tries to catch a terrapin for us. Byron, however, has found himself something very hairy and crawling around.
I have indeed, Taylor. I'm so glad you got to find a young leopard for us this morning, but we've got a hairy caterpillar that is catching a lift with us. Beautiful light on those little hairs on the body. It's just on the bull bar, what we call it a bull bar, that front little bar on the vehicle, similar to the one Jamie had in the tent. But what it is time for, and I'm just going to jump off the vehicle for a quick second, is it's time for a little coffee, I think. Hey Dave, sounds good. I get to test my new flask. Oh, now the moment of truth. Is it still very, very hot? The coffee, let's see. We need steam. Let's see. We have indeed. All right. Only half a cup for you, Dave. I'm just a quality test first. Oh, and it is still very hot. That's awesome. Be careful you don't. And I suppose we've got Gendre's coffee mug for Dave this morning. Gendre is not here, so I doubt he minds, but even if he does, he can't say anything because he's not here. So, cheers. See, my mug's a lot smaller than yours, but it's part of the flask, so I have to use it. What we do want to do quickly is with our coffee, quickly go and check the hyena den. That might be a good idea. It is warmer now, the sun's out, so maybe we've got some young hyena cubs lying out outside of the den. I'm surprised at how hot this coffee still is. And it's good. So I put a bit of Milo in it too, Dave. You know, mix things up a little bit. I think we need to get the girls to so I just thought I saw a track here. No. As I was saying, I think we should get the girls to pack us some snacks. Little biscuits, maybe, who knows. Louise says she'll definitely pack us some snacks for our afternoon drive. Jay, you asked if I've given tip of the day yet. No, I haven't. I'm just trying to think of one. One I was thinking about this morning, and it's a little tip, and it's maybe. Oh, it has a Wildebeest. Hello. Off it goes, just a single Wildebeest. I don't see any others. Jay, I think my tip of the day, or just something I was thinking about now moving into winter, it is actually important to have a nice jacket with you when you do come on safari. And we've spoken about clothing before as a tip of the day, but especially in winter, the days are lovely, especially out here in this area. The days are very warm, but the mornings and evenings are cold. So always make sure you've got a very nice warm jacket, and also if it is a little bit more rugged, it does help. And I'll tell you why. Is because even when you are just driving around, there are a number of there's obviously a lot of branches and that, and if you've got a jacket that is quite thin or doesn't have a robust cover to it, it can tear very easily. So something that can handle branches or thorns is probably better. But just a warm jacket, I think, is crucial when you go on safari in winter, so in our winter months. So from April, you start bringing it with, because you never know, the temperature could start changing. April, May, June, July, August. Those 5 months, always bring a warm jacket with you on safari, because that can get quite cold, especially May, June, July. Rebecca, you're asking about footwear and what footwear should be worn on safari. So, Rebecca, a lot of okay. So it depends actually on what you're going to be doing on safari. And I'll tell you why I say that is because, so a lot of the lodges that we might go to, you're probably not going to get off the vehicle that much, but you will get off. But if you are not planning a walk, say for a morning or an afternoon safari, you can wear just about anything. It doesn't have to be closed shoes. It doesn't have to be anything too comfortable. But actually, comfort is important. Always take comfortable shoes. But it can be running shoes. It can be anything if you're just going to be taking a safari on the vehicle. With walking shoes, generally, people often recommend hiking boots, like an actual hiking boot that goes over the ankle. Those are good to have, but a lot of the time, these areas, when you are walking, if you're doing walks, you can walk for long periods of time. I find just lighter shoes a bit more comfortable than an actual boot. I don't use a big boot. So my shoe, for example, if I show you, is just something like this. There we go. So it only comes up to my ankle. Doesn't cover the ankle, but it is. They are lighter. They are more comfortable, and generally something that's not going to get grass seeds stuck in it. And that again is just for a walk. But yeah, there we go. Dave's got. Can you see yours, Dave? Let me help you. There, Dave's got really proper boots for walking. Those are great. Leather boots, nothing can get in, no grass seeds or anything. So and those are perfect. But if you, again, that's only if you're really going to be walking on your safari. If you do 1 or 2 bush walks, probably not really. But on safari, just make sure there's something comfortable. That's it. And I hope that answers your question. Okay. Now, on the from shoes to maps of Kenya with Jamie.
Maps of Kenya indeed. But first we've got a charming journey through an arrangement of skulls that Senzor has set up in a way that looks most artistic, far more artistic than I could ever hope to be. As you can see, there is a map of Kenya. Yes, I know you all have Google, but sometimes it's nice to just talk through things in a hand-drawn way, and of course you get to laugh at my map drawing skills. First of all, there's a disclaimer, because the scale says non-existent. Existent was also spelt wrong initially, because apparently whenever I come into this tent I become illiterate. So there is no scale to this map. It is not accurate, so that is my disclaimer. For as we go ahead, it's more for a sense of where we are, more than anything else. Though, Nairobi is in the wrong place. Nairobi is sort of there. This is Kenya, this pit here. So there's Nairobi, the capital city. That is where we will be flying into. And then from there, flying to the Mara Triangle and staying roughly somewhere around there. Again, a gentle reminder, it is not to scale at all. So that is where we will be. This will be the Mara Triangle over here. This is the border with Tanzania. And this is a mistake, and I think that's probably how in the past wars were started between countries, when cartographers and plotters got things wrong. Please ignore that. That is not... Tanzania is not planning an invasion of that part of Kenya to change their boundary. And we'll definitely not go with that. Over here is, of course, Great Lake Victoria, not to scale, passing into Uganda, which will be on our western boundary, and then, of course, Rwanda and Burundi over here. Exciting things happen in this part of the world, and just look how close we are, because this, of course, is where the gorillas lie. Or sit, or eat, or whatever else gorillas do. No, not saying anything more, but how exciting is that? Much closer proximity to gorillas than we might otherwise have been. South Sudan, I don't think we're going to be going there anytime soon. I would prefer to not go to South Sudan at the moment. I'd love to go to South Sudan, but maybe not right now. The same applies to Ethiopia and Somalia. So those are our neighbors to the north. Obviously, that is a part of the world that is at the moment in the grips of a terrible, terrible drought. And not just that, of course, all kinds of civil strife. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I just want to point out a little red dot on the map over there. For those of you that want to do some reading, have a look into Dadaab. It is one of the largest refugee, if not the largest refugee camp in the world. Dadaab. Taking in people from all sorts of troubled countries. Important to remember when we go and enjoy another country's wildlife, to make ourselves aware of the struggles that they face in whatever way. I'm not going to get political about it. It's just an awareness that there are people out there who are struggling to get through life. So just a little thought. Then Lake Turkana up here. This is Lake Turkana and the Great Rift Valley that flows down through there. And there we go. That, in a nutshell, is Jamie's impression of Kenya, having never actually been there. Beautifully artistic, is it not, Lou? I feel as though I've done a marvellous job. This, of course, is the ocean. Lou's not impressed with my artwork. It's okay, Lou. I was never going to be an artist. As I once said before, my art teacher kindly said to me once when I was choosing my subjects for my final years of school, my art teacher just said to me, listen, don't even try. Just don't. it's not going to work out between you and Art, which was actually very, very good advice. I did music instead. Right, what was I? Oh yes, Priscilla. Priscilla, you had a question just while we were looking at the map. Obviously, this ties in quite nicely. You want to know about the difference in the terrain. What will it allow us to do? What won't it allow us to do? And so on. And you want to know if it will impact the tracking of the animals. I think we're going to be faced with a lot of challenges. I think it's going to be very, very different. On the one hand, it's very open, which is going to be awesome. You know, when we follow wild dog hunts, for example, out here, 99.99% of the time we don't get them when they actually make the kill, unless we're following them with a drone. Just because, aside from the vehicle impact that we have, it's just impossible for us to get to certain places at the speed they go. Not that there's that many dogs that we're likely to see, but for example, filming a cheetah hunt in a wide open space with a fantastic zoom, that's going to be hugely beneficial. And yes, we will be driving at night, and yes, we will be driving off-road. That in turn is probably going to complicate things. At least it's open, but there's also large rocks and large holes, and I can almost guarantee that we are going to smash a few axles. We're going to get stuck. I know I'm going to get stuck. I'm going to put that out there right now. There's a very good chance, especially driving in the dark without headlights on in the following hunting lions or whatever it happens to be. James has done it once. I have no judgment here. It's very, very difficult to do. So we're going to get stuck. We're going to be presented with challenges. We're going to have a huge amount of fun. Tracking, I'll let you know once we're there. I think it is going to be a different experience. I'm not sure how much leeway we're going to have in terms of hopping out and just disappearing in the same way that we do here, which drives, of course, the directors insane when all of a sudden they look to go back to you and you've vanished off into the bush somewhere. But I'm not sure what the leeway is going to be for that. I really don't know. I'm excited though. The unknown is half the fun. So there you go, a little summary of Kenya and the interesting things we're going to see. This, by the way, oh, lost a lid. That is a water stain, not a country. Lance, you want to know if I can show you the river crossings for the Great Migration? Not off the top of my head. I'd have to sit and double check on a map. So I could give you a completely mistaken impression. I don't want to go down that route. I'd rather look it up and double check for you first. I don't know exactly where they're going to be. I'm totally unfamiliar with this area. I know it's there. I know that the Wildebeest, of course, what Lance is talking about for our new viewers is the places where during the Great Migration of Wildebeest, gazelle and so on, the animals actually cross through certain points of the river, and there's a lot of bloodshed, which I have to say I think it's going to be extraordinary. I think it's going to be a spectacle, but I'm not particularly excited about. I saw some of the footage. Of course, we've all seen footage from the Mara crossings, and we've seen some of the footage from James. There may or may not be cameras up there at some point, keeping an eye on what's going on. So we'll just have to wait and see. Lance, apologies. I don't want to give you a false impression. I don't think that would be a very good idea at all. With promise of activity in the Mara, I think we all need to catch up on some rest beforehand, in just the same way Vutomi is doing.
Jamie, I think that he must be saving up on some sleep for some long 3-week 24/7 mission that he's going to be going on, because he's barely moved an inch. He is having the best time of his life right now, and I'm trying to be as excited as I can about leopard sleeping, but once you've been sitting and watching it for 20 minutes, it is of course very, very difficult. But I don't blame him. He does need to recuperate. I'm sure that he was exceptionally busy last night searching for something to eat, and especially when you have many failed attempts, I think it must be quite disheartening. So I don't think only is he tired, he could also be, well, his ego could be slightly bruised as well, and that's maybe why he's just resting up. Now, I've been watching the water very, very carefully as Vutomi is facing the other way. I have not seen one terrapin pop up. I reckon he's completely eradicated every single terrapin that used to live in the Cheetah Plains pan. They do not exist anymore. Terrapins cannot hold their breaths for that long that they don't pop their little nostrils out the water, and I just think that that's quite interesting to see. And I wouldn't mind going to check all the other pans to see if the same thing has happened, if he has very kindly snatched all the terrapins up. Hey boy? No, not interested. But I just actually can't believe how little he is. He's a very small leopard. I don't think he's going to be particularly big. Maybe he will be... Who have we seen that's not huge? Oh, we're lucky. We've actually got big leopards. Mvula's quite big. Tingana's big. We'll just have to wait and see. But I don't think he's going to be huge. I don't think he's going to be Anderson male huge. Maybe he'll be the size of the resident male down in the southern sector of the Sabi Sands and Sabi, like Mashabeni. He's not huge. Sometimes when he's full, he's got a dewlap, but normally he doesn't. Now, Julie, looking at his pink nose, you're wondering if that nose is going to turn... Kelly, not Julie. Sorry, Kelly. If his nose will turn completely black in time. Most likely, however, we've seen it with Shadow, who's an older girl, and her nose hasn't gone completely black at all. So it just depends again on genetics. Most of the time it will, and then it often starts to fade again with age. But we'll just have to wait and see, really. I think it will. Like I said, majority of the leopard's noses go completely black. Maybe he has a bit of pigmentation there, which could cause it to look a bit pink. So that could be another thing that would happen, but I'm not too certain. Actually, he's a bit difficult to see now. You can just sort of see a little bit of his nose, but it's starting to go quite dark. Just a bit of pink in the middle, but the outside of it is definitely changing colour. But he's still quite young, and I'd love to see him up and moving around so I can get an idea of his personality. But today is not my day, and hopefully, young man, I get to see you all, or get to see this boy again. But we're going to move on from him now, and hopefully he'll be here for this afternoon's sunset safari. Byron has got the Scavengers of the Sky.
We do indeed. It's a beautiful big marula tree with there's a mistletoe in it at the top there, and then above the mistletoe there's a vulture hiding in the branches. It's difficult to see. They were sitting out in the open a little bit earlier, but one flew off and the one moved. It looks like they possibly just rested there for the night. Now, with the day starting to warm up, those thermals will start to rise, and those vultures will then start flying around looking for food. You can see it balancing there on those branches. Like a white-backed vulture. That's what it is, a white-backed vulture. But they were sitting right on top of that mistletoe, and you'll see the mistletoe just below the vulture. It's quite a thick clump of darker green bush almost, or like part of the tree, but it's a parasite that's growing in the branches of the marula, and that is mistletoe. So they were sitting on there. It doesn't look like they've got a nest above it. I think perhaps they were just roosting in there for the night. Oh, it's starting to really warm up now. It's nice, lovely. I think perhaps that coffee also helped a bit. Remove a layer. Dina, that's 100% right. It is interesting to see the vultures in a tree like this that is all covered in leaves. It's quite a thick tree. Usually the vultures are just perched on those dead trees with open branches. It's easier for them to land in. You could actually see when they moved too, these two behind us, when they moved, it was difficult for them. They had to jump around a little bit to try and move through into an area where the one took off, and as I said, the other one's just moved up to the top there. I'm just going to see, maybe we might get a better view from this angle. A little bit there. Hold on, maybe from here. Now again, the branch in the road, it's obviously been dropped by an elephant, but I don't see any of these elephants anywhere. There, you might get him from there, Dave. Try that. There you can see he's now sitting out, well, just on the top of the tree. Laura, you asked, do the animals know to avoid the toxic mistletoe? Now, Laura, I'm trying to think now. I don't think this mistletoe, because it does have berries and there are birds that feed on it. That's how the mistletoe spreads, obviously, and gets basically planted in another tree. What will happen is the birds will rub their beaks against the tree and the seeds will drop and germinate. So I don't think it's as toxic as the mistletoe that you find overseas. I need to actually just read up about the toxicity level of the mistletoe that we have, Laura. I'm not sure. But again, as we, from some of the trees and plants that we get here that are toxic to us, it doesn't affect the animals in the same way. We know that, and one of the best examples is the tambweti. The tambweti tree, I mean, just us building a fire and using that wood, if we inhale the smoke, then we get very sick from it. Whereas animals like kudu and black rhino love feeding on tambweti. It doesn't affect them. Now, I can see something small running around on the road. It's just behind us. Let me just try and move a little bit. Hold on. Dave, there's a spider hunting wasp, a little one, just on the road there. Can you see it? Try from there. Might get him. There we go. Look at that. That's a spider hunting wasp, everyone. Now, usually they're very quick and they fly around. You don't get to see them. I've had a bit of luck with these little guys in the past, and some of you might remember that sighting we had with the 2 red-crested koran that stole a spider from a wasp, and the wasp then attacked the birds, trying to get it back. Beautiful, beautiful little wasp. Possibly picked up on the scent. But now, speaking about the korans and that, Taylor's got an interesting little ground bird she'd like to show you.
I'm so excited. This is a new bird for me. We are looking at the moment at a female double-banded sand grouse, and there's actually 3 of them here. It looks like, I'm wondering if I don't know what's going on at the moment, because the one on the left, the far left, we'll have a look at him and hopefully he turns his head to us. But that's a male. There you go. Can you see that? Look how beautiful he is. So that's the male, and it's another female behind him. But these birds are monogamous normally, so they find one mate and that they'll mate with continuously. But I don't know why there are 2 girls here. It's quite interesting. We are just coming into the breeding season now, though, of the sand grouse. They're a little bit different. They tend to lay their eggs anywhere from, I suppose, about now, April to about maybe October, somewhere around there, give or take a couple of months. And like the rest of the ground-dwelling birds, they just make a shallow scrape in the ground. But very, very interesting as to why he's got 2 girls here. Perhaps these 2 females were in the area and they're quite excited by the presence of this boy. And I suppose that happens in wildlife too, where sometimes the girls have got to put on a show, but it is the boys that do all the hard work. How cool was that? A new bird for me. I've only ever seen pictures, and I think I've seen them flying, but I couldn't see them flying them well enough, unfortunately, to identify them, because the Namakwa dove and the Namakwa sandgrass actually looks quite similar to them too. But very, 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 very cool. So happy to add another bird to my list, and I think that's what I'm going to do when I get back to campus. I'm going to go through all the birds that I've seen, because I haven't done an update on my bird list for a very, very long time now. I believe for a lot of you that was actually a new bird. How great is that? And I'd love to hear what number it is, especially for some of you who have been watching for probably since the beginning of time. Oh, hang on, we go. Okay, Milo, the zoo-loving scientist. You've said that that's number, oh, I've forgotten, number 76? 75! 75! I don't know why I went to do 4 there, 75. So sorry, Milo. So that's great, and I'm glad that you've got a bird list, but let's hear. Some of you, I know that you're up in the 400s already on birds. Let's hear what number bird that was for a couple of you, our long-time viewers, and especially because it is 10 years, of course, that Wild Earth has been going for, which is very, very, not wild, yeah, very, very cool. New birds, I need to add that. And I don't even know, you know what I've done? I've misplaced my bird book. I think it's somewhere on my shelf. I did a bit of rearranging before I left, and I unpacked my backpack and my camera box because I wanted to take things to Australia. I didn't want to have unnecessary weight of like South African bird books because I was going to bring back all the Australian books. So I put them away, but now I've gone and put them somewhere where I can't remember where to find them. So once I locate my bird book, I will indeed redo a count and well, go from there. But that was really nice. I'm so excited. I'm sad they didn't hang around for a little bit longer because they're really fascinating birds. We're actually going to go to 3 in a row pan now and have a look around here. One thing though that I have seen a picture of, and it was quite a while ago, but I remember somebody posted a picture of their eggs on the ground, and I'm pretty sure their eggs were sort of cinnamon pink in color, which was quite cool. So I'm going to do a bit of research. I've got a really cool eggs and nest book at home, bird book, well, back at the camp. So I'm going to look in that as well and just confirm what color they are. But imagine walking around on a bushwalk and finding this nest on the ground with these beautiful colored eggs. I'm sure they must stand out quite a bit. All right, 3 in a row pan. What have you got for us today? A marula tree. There is water. Let's see if we can find a terrapin to look at. Here's some more water. Oh, there's a laughing dove that's just coming down for a drink just in the corner. Yeah, so just up the corner and then go, there we go, it's just flown off. There it is. Well, that was a dove having a drink of water. They're always coming down to drink lots and lots of water. It's a hard day's work for the birds out here. No terrapins just yet. No one's sunning themselves, which is a little bit surprising. Let's try the next one. Luckily we've got 3 to check. Now John, seems like we've been chatting about birds today. We seem to have birds on the brain. You were wondering if there are any hummingbird species out here. Unfortunately not, John, but we do have a couple of birds, which I shall show you, that sort of resemble hummingbirds. So, for instance, let me I have to clean my phone first, though, my mobile. Just give it a quick wipe on the good old pants, where I wipe everything else, my hand. My poor shorts are always stained with grease and fuel, and I'm sure that Jamie's sitting in the tent going, yep, I know all about that. That's a little bit more acceptable. Now we have to go to birds, and now I've got an app on my phone, so I'm going to look for it. Let's go to sunbirds, are the ones that I want to tell you about, John, because they're the ones that look sort of similar. We've got to go all the way. We'll do sunbirds and we'll do sugarbirds. Now which one do I show you? Which is my favorite sunbird? Let's do a collared sunbird. No, where are you? It's green and yellow. Green and yellow. There we go. We'll do collared. Let's get a beautiful picture for you. Now I'm hoping that the glare is not going to be too bad this morning. And if you look very carefully, this is actually not a good picture because this bird doesn't have as long of a bill. It's a bit hard. I don't know if it's going to work in this light. No, it's a bit dark. There, let's see. Oh, that's all right. That'll do. It's just a bit difficult, of course, because we've got the sun glaring down on us, and I've got to angle my mobile screen so it doesn't cause too much trouble. But that's a little collared sunbird. What I'm going to do is, how am I going to do this? Now I'm just tapping away aimlessly on my screen. No, okay, I'm going to just turn my phone like this vertically because I want to go back out to find a different sunbird for you. Here we go. Let's do the olive sunbird. We don't get olive sunbirds here, but I used to see them down in Eastern Cape. But here's a good example of a bird with a long bill, very similar to a hummingbird. And they almost do the same thing. Unfortunately, they cannot flap their wings to the point that they can hover. They hover using the wind. We've only got two true hovering species out here in South Africa, the pied kingfisher and the black-shouldered kite. And this little bird, I've obviously picked up signal now, and this little bird will probe that long bill down into the middle of the flower and feed on all of the nectar. So they love that sugary substance, which is very much what the hummingbirds do too. We've also got sugarbirds. They occur in the Western Cape region of South Africa, however, nowhere near here, far on the west coast. And they do the same thing. They'll feed off of the nectar, off of the proteas, and have got that similar, very long, recurved bill. So these are our equivalents, and they're tiny as well. They're very small, very dainty, delicate birds, just like the hummingbirds. Now, we're moving on from birds now. We're going to keep searching. I think we're going to start heading home. Jamie is doing some sort of doodling on a map.
Some sort of doodling on a map, because I realized that I forgot some very sort of essential points. Excuse me, Impala. Can you go chase your ladies elsewhere, or else come a little bit closer so we can see you? The rutting impala are now a pretty much constant visitor to the tent, and this boy keeps chasing the females around and around where we are. I'm waiting for them to get so caught up in whatever they're doing that they come stumbling into us, which will be an interesting moment. It'll be Senzo's second near encounter with a rutting impala after our bushwalk where one nearly ran straight into him. I forgot a couple of points, and this of course is where my sheer lack of scale comes in and becomes very apparent. The fact that the equator, I'm not going to draw it, runs through here. So we're going to be very, very close to the equator of the Earth, which means I can't draw it because it'll be completely skew in the places where it's meant to cross. Which means, of course, that our day length will be pretty much consistent throughout the year, which is great because it creates a more consistent environment in terms of safaris and timings. Now, that's wonderful for us. Kenya, of course, being an hour ahead. I think it is an hour ahead of South Africa. Is it 2 hours, Lou? Oh, goodness, 2 hours. My mistake. Either way, we'll be in a slightly different time zone. And then, of course, I forgot Scott and Nikki, who are up here somewhere. Around about there, sort of right smack bang in the middle of Kenya is where Scott and Nikki were. I draw Scott and Nikki, but I think that might be past my point of, well, no, we'll do Nikki. Here's Nikki with long hair, and she never wears skirts, but we'll give her a skirt. And muscly Scott. Those are his biceps. Here's his head. There's his other bicep. Ah, apparently it is 1 hour ahead. There's Scott. Scott and Nikki. Those are his biceps, just by the way, because Scott is quite, what did James used to call him? The Greek god-like Scott Dyson is what James used to call him. Right, and just a few more questions about Kenya and what we will be expecting. Holly, you want to know if there's going to be any sand cats in the Mara? A little bit too far south for them. And generally speaking, sand cats, from what I understand, I've only ever seen one in a zoo. Just come straight out and say that. The sand cat I saw was in the Berlin Zoo, I believe. Sandcats a bit further to the north in the more desert, more arid areas of Africa, and then through the Middle East and so on. So no, we won't be seeing any sandcats, although as I said, servals are on the list. There should be some really truly spectacular serval sightings. That's the part that I'm super, super excited about. And yes, Chris, absolutely. Learning more about the hyenas, because I think that the hyena behavior there is going to be really very, very different to the behavior that we see here. Typically the clans are much larger. They do a lot of hunting themselves as well, not just scavenging of lions, which is something that James saw in the Mara, a lot of hyena-lion interaction. I think that's going to be fascinating, and there's a lot of behavioral differences in the sense that the females, particularly females with cubs, have to kind of follow the migration and then go all the way back to where they've left their cubs, where they're in their den sites. I don't know if we're going to find any hyena dens. I can hope, I can wish that we do, but it's something exciting to see. And just on the subject of predators, golden jackal. Right, quick, everybody back into the tent. It seems as though... Oh, I hope it continues to be this way. It seems as though our plan has paid off, Sensor. Let us see. So underneath the microscope we have placed something. I wonder if you can guess what that may be. Let's have a look. There we go. It's a sort of a crystalline structure. And just a few moments ago there were several ants that had made their way there, which was essentially what our plan was. But of course, now that I've drawn attention to it... Hey, go back! That way! No, the other way! You silly thing. I was hoping to entice ants underneath the microscope that would actually hang around in that area, but I think they feel a little bit confused. Maybe that is what I should do. Wait, here comes one, here comes one. Oh, wait, go back, go back, go back. This way, this way. Nope. Brief glimpse of an ant in the corner. And what we're doing, of course, is attempting to bring them underneath the microscope. I wonder if you can figure out what we've placed under there. I have to confess the evidence is very much on our table, although some of the evidence keeps disappearing for some reason. Come on, ants. What is it? There's something there for you. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Yay! And gone. Cool. Yeah, we've just been playing with stuff underneath the microscope, essentially. There goes the ant off the corner of the cardboard that James has set up. The ants were originally on that leaf, searching for fungus. But the evidence is on the table. It is indeed. Could it have been Connor, the mystery skeleton that placed it there? Could it have been Tamsin the tiger? I apologize. Barbara and Tamsin, this tiger's name is just causing me great confusion. So apparently it's not Barbara, it is Tamsin the tiger that James named it. So with all of the alliteration in mind, let's go out with Byron on a bumble.
Jamie, we are bumbling around. We just caught a glimpse of some warthog that ran off very quickly, unfortunately. A female with 2 piglets. They didn't stick around for us to show you. And that is about it. Again, a lot of signs of elephant everywhere, but just can't find them. Tracks, and there's broken branches and fresh dung from last night, early this morning, but no sign of them. So I'm not sure where all the animals are hiding at the moment. Douglas, the average weight of a bull elephant, now, I mean, it depends. A large bull elephant can get up to about 5 or 6 tons, but that'll be a very big elephant. So I'd say the average weight is about 4 to 5 tons for a bull elephant. Sounds like Wendy's picked up a bit of a cold. That's our vehicle, for those of you not sure. It's got a frog in her throat, so I don't know if we're going to make it through the whole drive. We'll see. Impala. Just ran across the road. Let's see if there are any others around here. I'd love to get 2 males fighting. As we know, it is the rutting season. Where did that male disappear to? There it is. Just over there. So that is a male. It's actually a beautiful picture with him being, or staring into the sun, the light coming through from the other side, through the grass and shining on the horns and that beautiful coat. It's a lovely view of him. Something different. An artistic view of a male impala. Hey, Dave? There we go. So apparently it was, Jamie heard some rutting from the tent of male impala. Love to get a nice view of these males fighting, because they get so absorbed in it. They basically forget about everything else going on around them. the picture Louise is saying we could call this the modern male by David. Helicopter flying past us. It is a helicopter, flying quite low. Must be one of the landowners possibly. Very, very strict on helicopters flying through the area. It'll get radioed in immediately unless it's been approved, and the landowners or the lodge owners are notified. But it'll get radioed into the Sabi Sands, and it's all procedures, anti-poaching procedures. Obviously, they're very, very strict with any planes flying in and out or over the area. In fact. Oh, hang on. There's a lot going on here. Hang on, there's 2 male impala. Let's see. And there's some warthogs. Yes, there we go. Watch these males. Let's see if they do decide to rut. Oh, it looks like we might get some action. And a third male coming in. And the warthog in the shot there too. Oh, this is beautiful. Lovely scene. Yeah. The warthogs come to see which male is going to win this fight. Let me just move forward slightly. Hold on. Just to get a better view. This tree's in our way. Oh, windy. Don't give up on us just yet. They keep moving behind the tree. Is that alright, Dave? Let's just wait and see. It looks like they're just kind of sizing one another up. Bit of grunting from these males. It's small grunts, not proper rutting. Interesting. I wonder if because there aren't any females around, maybe these males have decided not to fight just yet. We'll keep an eye on them, but look at all those warthog. Enjoying the green grass. There's still a lot of food around for these animals. Good time of the year. Almost looked like the impala wanted to chase the warthogs. Now, Judy, these impala rams are looking in good nick. They've all bulked up over the summer season. They've all been feeding a lot, so they really are looking fit and healthy. And big and strong. The bigger and stronger they are, the better chance they have of being able to chase off other males and fight for dominance, to be able to mate with a number of females. Look at that beautiful sheen on the coat of that male. This is a really, really great scene. So what we thought might be a fight turned out just to be a very peaceful, pristine scene with the warthog and Impala. And Milo, you say you love it how the warthogs go down on their knees to feed. It is great to see. Very interesting. And just to get down, get those snouts right to the base of the grass and the roots that they would like to feed on. The grass shoots, that's what warthog prefer. So when they go down on their knees like that, Milo, it's obviously a lot easier for them to get to the good food that they are looking for. They've got such character, the warthogs. I love seeing warthogs. One of my favorite animals to see out here. The sun is definitely warming up now. Going to be a lovely day, it looks like it. John, so the Impala horns can be used to defend themselves against predators. I'm just trying to think. I've never seen an Impala use its horns to fight off a predator, but I have. They can impale something if they manage to turn quick enough, or if a lion or leopard just times it incorrectly. Then yes, they can definitely impale and injure or even kill a predator. Might not necessarily be a conscious decision, maybe just a quick turn and the predator jumps at the wrong angle. But yes, they would be used to try and defend themselves against predators. I've just never seen it though. It's only times I've seen Impala is, with predators and Impala, it's usually just when they're being eaten and or being hunted, and there's no chance of them defending themselves. Oh, that was very nice. We almost got a big rutting fight, but it seems as if they settled it through discussion as opposed to actually fighting. Very mature Impala. And there are two more running now. They're going to be running across in front of us. Let's see if they decide to fight. No, running off in the direction of where those others ran to. So no one's. Oh wait, hang on. There was a grunt from that male on the right. Again, just grunting, but no actual aggression towards each other. I've just thought of something to add to the tip of the day with bringing a jacket with for winter. Something else that I recommend with now most lodges have got first aid kits and all of that, but if you can bring an antihistamine cream, just because you do occasionally get the odd mosquito bite, or you might, especially if you're doing a bush walk, you might get a little tick bite. Hopefully not, but you can, and especially us that walk regularly, we do get it. And it is the itchiest thing you can possibly imagine. And I say that because I woke up last night from tick bites. And I was still itchy a week later. I was still so itchy. So if you get an antihistamine cream for that, for any little bite or something that causes itchiness, bring it with. Trust me, it works and it helps. Right, let's go see what Taylor's got up to on her drive.
Second tip of the day because you forgot to do one yesterday evening on the Sunset Safari. Well, there we go. Of course, you've got the tips from the master, the safari expert himself. We are not going to be giving any safari tips. We are just going to watch some animals today. And we actually drove this road earlier this morning and it was completely barren. However, it is now filled with impala and zebra. It is lovely. The sun is warm. I don't want to move from the spot. It is very, very, very nice here. Everyone's going about their day, though. It looks like they are going to start moving off, though. I think they've obviously come through and done a bit of feeding. And whether they're reacting to us, I'm not sure. They seem fairly relaxed. Most of them have put their heads back down now and started eating. But as you know, animals don't stay in one spot for a very long time when they eat. They're constantly on the go. So from here, they'll probably, they actually could go anywhere. They most likely will go south from here. And we might find them around Twin Dams, maybe around Baboon Pan a little bit later this afternoon. But it's not just them. There's actually a Birchall starling just to the left. You can just see it coming out on your screen. There's a couple of them that are flying around and following, of course, all of these animals, trying to catch any grasshoppers or perhaps any moths or butterflies that are disturbed as these animals move through the grass. Mr. Birchall's or Mrs. Birchall's starling, if you come back with me and you can live in my room and catch all the grasshoppers and all the other things that seem to be plaguing me at the moment, I'd be forever thankful, and you would be supplied with a full stomach every single day. And I could even lease you out to the other members of the team. Kirst, I know, has a problem with grasshoppers too. So she actually shouted yesterday from her room, "Taylor, did you put this grasshopper in my room?" And then I obviously had to say no, but I did. No, I didn't. I didn't think of it, though. I should have. But yes, there's still plenty of those around. Impala, you don't eat grasshoppers, do you? Probably not intentionally. Oh, Director Louise has just said I must be careful what I say because Kirst is in final control. That's fine. We've already had this conversation, which is okay. Oh, you see something spooked them slightly, and I think it was the Birchall starling flying out of one of the bushes. And it's the small things that you have to be careful of out here, and I don't blame them for sort of living on edge, because I think if you are not too cautious then you find yourself in a bit of trouble. Now you can see that the Impala ram is looking off into the distance with his lips curled up. Most likely a Impala ewe urinated there, and he's just testing her urine to make sure and keep up to date with the cycles, the estrus cycles that the ewes will be going into. And of course, when he picks up that one is about to go into estrus, he obviously tries to court her and then tries to mate with her. And it's a tough job because he needs to mate with as many females as many times as possible in this herd, because you never know. Right now, a new contender could come in and chase him out, and he would of course be then left without passing on any of his genetics to future offspring. But he looks like he's an old professional. As you can see, his right horn has got a bit of a chip in it, and that will definitely be from fighting. I'm sure he's challenged many other Impala rams in his time. He's a good looking boy. Like I said, keep taking screenshots of what the Impala look like now, and then in a couple of weeks time we must compare what the rams are looking like, because this is tough. They lose condition very, very quickly, as he scratches his head on that plant. So it's quite interesting to see the differences. Well, it's been great. It was a bit quiet to start off with, but Sebastian and I have been quite lucky with all the animals that we've seen so far. And this herd of impala and the 2 zebra definitely made it a memorable morning. But we're going to keep on going now. Jamie's still in the tent. Whoop. They've all just come running back. I'm not sure why. I think it's the birds again startling them. But let's jump back on board. We'll jump inside Jamie's tent.
From some very much alive impalas and a grisly farewell in the tent, he'll be spending the last few minutes of the sunrise safari with me. So that's what an impala looks like after it has been deceased for quite a while. I'll just quickly, before we end off our sunrise safari, the answers to what Senzo and I put underneath the microscope. It was not honey and it was not scrambled eggs, because I fear James might, I don't know, disembowel us or something if we were to leave such substances in his tent. I already got into trouble for not sweeping it the last time I was in here, so apparently I left a mountain of sand. Oops. What it was, well done to Randy, was the breakfast that Anwar bought us in the form of salty crack crumbs, biscuit crumbs. Apparently the ants weren't as interested as I would be in the biscuit crumbs. It was a lot drier than I thought. I'm so glad you could all share that moment of chewing with us. Sorry about that. So, didn't attract much in the way of insects. I think we'll have to turf it out. Don't forget, it is Wild Earth's 10-year birthday today, which is very, very exciting. Join us for the fireside chat at 6:15 for all sorts of exciting and, for some of us, somewhat embarrassing moments that we'd love to share with you once again. It will be a truly intriguing thing, and we look forward to having you there. However, it is the sunrise safari. It is time for us to say our farewells. Well done, Senzo, for his wonderful first time in the tent. He's done a marvelous job. Well done to Louise and whoever happens to be her D2. I don't actually know. Megan. And most importantly, a big thank you to all of you for joining us, enjoying our company and us enjoying yours. We'll see you tonight on the Sunset Safari. Bye-bye, everybody.